finish from Jack McVeigh.
Kell came up with it. What a pass for Starling. Unbelievable play from Trey Kell. Ball in the hands of Kadee. Got away in time and scores.
And Wiley trying to give it him energy.
Finds Flowers.
Down.
Bang!
The Tasmania JackJumpers return home after the fever break, ready to relaunch their NBL24 campaign against the Adelaide 36ers at My State Bank Arena. The Sixers have faced a torturous weekend of travel, a Thursday night loss in Christchurch before they head to the Apple Isle, while the Jackies fans are ready to get back into the swing of things in the second leg of our Saturday night doubleheader. Joel Peterson with you alongside Liam Santamaria and Andrew Gaze with Kelsey Brown courtside as we look at our Mitsubishi Motors ladder. Tassie 7-5 in third. They can move to second with a win tonight. Adelaide 4-8, and Liam and Gazy, they are 1-5 on the road this season.
Yeah, that's right. And you look at the Adelaide 36ers and they're just hanging on. And what they need to do is figure out a way to, and it seems very simplistic, just to be more consistent. I mean, some of their defensive efforts throughout the course of the season has been quite good, but some of them has been downright horrific. And we saw that in the first quarter against New Zealand on Thursday night. They give up 37 points. My Gloryfield days. That is not good enough. So their inconsistency, and when they're on the road, it becomes even tougher for them. And Jack McVeigh, though, he is a high-quality player that's been getting it done in crunch time.
And he just continues to get better.
Well, he's been fantastic. And he's Mr. Big. You know, he's a big shot taker and he's a big shot maker, and he loves it. He just revels in those moments, and you love a player like that who wants the ball in the big moments and ready to take those shots. So 16 points per game, he's highly reliable, and he's doing a great job for this JackJumpers team in all the moments, but especially the big ones.
Absolutely he is. He caught up with Kelsey Brown a little while ago to speak about the kind of form that he's in.
Right now I'm just continually focused on getting better. I mean, every day I feel like I'm still not good enough, and it's that fine battle between wanting to be better and appreciating the moment. But I'm enjoying playing with this team. Coach trusts me, and we're winning games, so that's what matters most. But I'm enjoying improving and having fun out there.
He's such a big part of what they're trying to do. It's the Tasmania JackJumpers. Is Jack McVeigh. He's going to be very important for them tonight. For CJ Bruton, well, the pressure is mounting in terms of Adelaide, really, as Felix said earlier, trying to salvage their season, get things back on track. They didn't do that in any kind of way on Thursday night, Gazy.
Well, and there are times in games, like I said before, where offensively they look really sharp, but the three ball is killing them. They cannot get any level of consistency, and some of that's got to do with their structure, but some of it they're just missing shots. Now, DJ will take some tough shots, and those last two are pretty tough shots. So trying to get him some better looks is going to be important, because he's a big part of it. But across the board, they've been poor from the three-point line, and trying to improve on that with their structure and the help that they can provide each other. Because even these highlights, Liam, a lot of them just coming from one-on-one plays, not necessarily coming from any particular structured action.
Yeah, and a big part of that is trying to get better looks. Maybe move the ball a little bit more and start to get guys catching and shooting with their shoulders square. DJ struggled from the three-point line the other night, was 1 of 7 from long range, and between he and Trey Kell, they were 1 of 12 from three-point territory combined. So what they really need is that DJ that's lighting that thing up, because we've seen some games, Drewy, where he starts feeling it and he gives them an offensive punch that starts to open things up for everybody. So the difference from the 36ers when DJ and guys like Trey Kell, Trenton Flowers are knocking down shots, and what we saw on the other night is stark.
It is, and some of these shots are like the ones he was missing. Those last two shots there were very, very tough shots that just happened to fall. They need to find a way to get him better looks, and for him to have a bit of faith in his teammates when he gives it up, it's going to come back. We're going to work for you to create better looks for you because they understand they need to get him going for them to have a chance to win.
No surprises in Scott Roth's starting five for the 13th straight game. The only team that's run out the same starting five all season. Scott Roth makes no changes to that lineup.
Jordan Crawford, 18 points per game, 4.5 assists. And Anthony Drimmick shooting the ball at 42%, a career high from long range.
A little bit of a astute look about Anthony Drimmick as well after he went clean-shaven the last time these two teams met coming up against his former side. And the Adelaide 36ers will, yeah, as Liam said, Drewy, they need some offensive firepower, and it needs to start with that starting group.
They do, it does, but I think it's a collective, and I think at some point CJ's got to figure out what is his 8-guy rotation. Right now, he's still trying to play a lot of guys and giving everyone an opportunity. Now, some of that is because he's searching for answers and searching for combinations, but how he can settle in is going to provide them with a greater level of consistency if he can tighten up that rotation. And that's going to mean, like the Perth Wildcats did, you're going to have to make some tough decisions about some of your players.
So the 36ers come to Hobart. The JackJumpers getting their season back underway after the FIBA break. And the Sixers going down to New Zealand in Christchurch on Thursday. And here's Anthony Drimmick to start things off against his former team.
Could not be a worse start for the Adelaide 36ers and what they've got to do on the defense. A flare screen and the level of commitment to either get over or switch was non-existent on that first play.
Looks like they've flown in from South America rather than the South Island of New Zealand. Trey Kell's off with a 3-ball. And the starts have been diabolical for Adelaide. They have lost their last 10 first halves. They were down by 20 at quarter time on Thursday. They don't need this to happen as Marcus Lee rocks the rim.
Oh my. The JackJumper fans standing and applauding. High energy start from the home team.
And a decidedly low energy start from the visitors. And DJ get going in the early stages. Next cross court for McCarron, almost had it poked away. Wiley brings the energy, couldn't finish. Already some heads would be scratching for the 36ers. Here's Crawford in the mid-range.
But what a contrast we're seeing. It's only early days, first couple of possessions, but the intensity on the defensive end by the JackJumpers down this end, it's a stark comparison to what we've seen the first couple of possessions down the other end.
Almost lost the handle to DJ. Now Humphries gets to the free throw line, just flings it at the rim and draws a foul.
Well, much needed little circuit breaker for Adelaide. Here's the Harvey Norman replay, the opening possession. Good execution from the JackJumpers, but no communication from Adelaide. The botch switch and then bang, they get Marcus Lee over the top.
See it so often, Marcus Lee rolling to the rim, especially early in the games. First couple of possessions, they love to go to that action.
But what is, and this is where, well, what do you expect to happen? You've got to do one of two things. Humphries has got to be either up a lot higher and putting ball pressure, or you have to be 50% more committed to get over the top if you're going to get over the top on those on balls. And then you're going to need you're still going to need some semblance of a deterrent from the weak side to try and tag that roller. It just looks like a reactive, conservative approach on that play. Very early days, though, and a long way to go.
Not the start they needed after they conceded the first 9 on Thursday, and we're down 37-17 at quarter time. JackJumpers get it over halfway with relative ease. Crawford almost had a wide open 3 at his calling. And now McVeigh has exactly that.
Well, they're getting pretty good looks off those flare screens, giving Adelaide all kinds of trouble. I like the fact that 36 has got up the floor. But again, a wide open look from long range. Down early big.
Humphries goes upstairs to try and drag down the rebound. Spilt to Vasiljevic. He couldn't finish. Here's Drimic on the wing again.
They look fresh. Some teams after the fever break, but hearing Scott Roth, looks like they gave the players some extended time off, and they're looking fresh.
An unconventional pass from Vasiljevic inside to Wiley, and got it to Humphries somehow. Again, they come up empty on the offensive end, and Doyle steps into one. Don't need to see that. Here's Scott Roth barking instructions from the sideline. Crawford goes to work. So crafty.
That was well done by DJ. A lot of people are critical of his defense from time to time, but that time you can see what he was trying to do. Take away the right hand, take away the middle, slide your feet, keep him in front. And that's the type of individual effort you need every possession, not every now and again.
Doyle just chucks it inside looking for Lee, who has said on record, throw it somewhere near the rim and I'll go up and get it. It's just not when Isaac Humphries is in the way.
Well, they're best of mates, aren't they? Yep. Isaac Humphries and Marcus Lee. Always fun to see guys who are best mates going up against each other, especially when they play the same position. Of course, they went head-to-head a few weeks ago when Tassie beat Adelaide in Adelaide, and here they go back at it again.
Marcus Lee was really strong on that occasion, 12 and 8. For the Jackies, of course, Will Magnay back into the lineup and doing some good things as well in the big man stakes. There is Humphries going reverse. Nice finish.
I love it when he's aggressive. Oh, he played the 15 minutes the other night in New Zealand.
A little bit of foul trouble. 5 turnovers as well in that outing for Isaac Humphries. Doyle driving inside. Got a shove on the way through. So in terms of these starts, from a coaching perspective, Drewy, with Adelaide, what can you do to snap out of the kind of funk that they're in early in games?
Well, I think it's trying to simplify the game as much as you possibly can and trying to motivate a way in which you can do better on this end of the floor. You can have your ebbs and flows on offense, but they've got enough talent. They're going to find ways to score, but right now, as Liam said, he liked the extended defense to try and set the tempo. Sure, they extended it, but they just need a little bit more intensity in what they're doing. DJ doesn't like it. He wants it to be reviewed.
DJ's got finger waggle rights.
CJ must have a lot of faith, because I think he's trusted DJ on this one. And I think they're going to challenge.
So snooze timeout. Just over 6 minutes remaining in this opening frame. JackJumpers heading out to an early lead. CJ Bruton does want to have a look at this one as he talks to his charges. DJ Vasiljevic thought straight away. He immediately went for the replay.
Well, he wasn't shy, was he? Calling for it. We're getting a good look at it here.
DJ might be in trouble.
Oh, no.
Because don't forget, the issue is not, is it conclusive enough? Is that conclusive enough?
That left hand
did look
of
like
Doyle.
That might have saved him in that other
It just
angle.
feels like here, right there.
The coach's challenge is successful. The call will be overturned. Play will resume with white ball, green ball.
That's right.
We're going to go with white ball.
Yep, we'll go with white ball.
We'll go with white ball.
Ken Widgeon, trust your instinct.
And Vasiljevic will come out with his chest pumped out just that little bit broader.
It's an early win for DJ. For some limited challenges if you manage to get them right. 36ers have done just that in the early stages. Trail by 5. Isaac Humphries with their only field goal so far. Here's Trey Kell at the free throw line. One's a long way short.
They are hard showing and really putting pressure on DJ when they're on the on-ball screens. when they're doing that, sometimes you're better off not having as much on-ball screens. DJ's creative enough to go and get his action without the ball. And then, again, it's the 3 ball and it's the defense. Sure, you look at the 3 points, 4.5 minutes, that's not good enough, but the quality shot that the JackJumpers are getting is going to be tough unless there's some adjustments on that end as the priority.
3 of 5 from downtown out of the blocks here, Tassie. Adelaide 1 of 9 from the field at the other end. Here's Doyle probing inside.
That's just too easy. Getting open looks on the arc, just striding their way into that mid-range area, and they're going to need to swing some changes. You can see CJ Bruton, he's getting Trenton Flowers ready to check in as Vasiljevic gets to the rim and Humphries cleans up the mess. I like it because they need a bit of a change of energy here, and that's what Trenton Flowers usually brings.
Seen it a few times from him. Saw it last time they played the 36ers. He and Joe Smith-Namilma came in and provided with some good minutes. Crawford with the runner. That one rattles home.
He sort of lobbed earlier to Marcus Lee. Now Isaac Humphries is sitting deep.
He's nervous.
So the guys with the ball, Doyle, now Crawford, are getting to their spots and cashing in.
Still those starting lineups for each side. 4 and change remaining in this opening frame. Crawford in transition. Spills straight to McVeigh. Can't lay it home. They're getting some really good looks here, Tassie. Just what they want on the offensive end. Wiley thought about the 3. McCarron a little fadeaway in the lane. And a turnover from the Sixers. But he's going to stay a white ball. You hear the referee saying they pointed the wrong way.
They just need to find a way to open this game up a little bit. Adelaide, everything is such a grind at the offensive end right now, and just 5 points in the first 6 minutes and change.
And all through Isaac Humphries.
Yeah, and they're coming on the second shots, 2 of 13 from the field at 15%. Is not going to cut it for the Adelaide 36ers.
A couple of reinforcements, Smith-Milner, Flowers and Kadee into the game. Nice little back cut from Vasiljevic and a good find as well. That's more like it.
That's a good read. JackJumpers are a pressure team. They're going to hard show, as Drew, you mentioned before. They're going to jump in the passing lanes, so the back cuts might be there.
Magnay, Deng and McDonald out there now for the Jackies. Nice move from Doyle. Gets inside and gets hit on the way through.
Yeah, your boy Flowers on skates. And that's just a young fella trying to learn his trade. When you look at the skills that Flowers brings to the table, offensively, you can see the growth and the potential. On the defensive end, it's about him understanding strategies and how you guard people with the ball and without the ball. And in both areas, I think he needs improvement. That one there, when you give a high-quality player like Doyle options, now you might get beat, but know where you're going to get beat. So just send him one way, rely on help. But he had him shaking around on skates, and it's almost impossible with the nature of the game to play catch-up on the defensive end in situations like that when you're talking about high-quality offensive players.
Ball splits him at the line. Tassie get to the free throw line less than any other team in the competition as Wiley gets one to go. They've got a couple of others helping out. Isaac Humphries in the scoring department. Doyle will hit that all day. Banks open for Milton Doyle in the early stages. Wiley's got some room to operate in, and you can't allow him that kind of space.
Well, just starting to find a little flow offensively now. That's the sort of rhythm and flow we were talking about. Now the challenge for the 36ers is to get some stops.
Clint Steindl has been red hot from downtown this season. Shooting it at 57% coming into tonight. Couldn't hit that one.
As a team, Joel, second in three-point percentage. They've got a bunch of guys that have been shooting the heck of it out of it. We mentioned Anthony Drimmick. Certainly Clint Steindl's one of those guys. Sean McDonald as well. 50% from long range.
Helps when you shoot the second most threes in the competition as well. That you.
It helps when you know where your three ball's going to come from as well. And they are really structured on the offensive end. So they have a better understanding of what is a good shot and a bad shot from the three-point line.
Now #1 in the league in offensive rating, this Tassie team.
They're also, to their great credit, they do, and all teams put in a lot of work on the day-to-day and across each week on the practice floor, but the JackJumpers are very organised in the way they go about that. They call them their daily vitamins. Each one of their players is on their individual performance.
Blackmore vitamins as well, I think.
Of course.
They're the Blackmore's vitamins.
Yes, sir.
Because they are just to go a little bit more punch to them.
Much higher level than the other run-of-the-mill vitamins that are on display on the shelves. But sitting in on some of their presentations to some next stars over the journey, they really are impressive with the way they operate and put things together on a daily basis, and it shows in the improvement that they have with their guys.
A very tight ship down in Tassie, that's for sure. Beautiful pass from Crawford, and Sean McDonald is wide open in the corner. He's hit half of his threes this season, and he won't get many easier looks than that. Lead back out to 9. Smith-Milner dives on top of it and threw it into the foot of Alex Starling. McDonald thought about another one. Passes it off to Crawford. Lovely feed to Magnay, who gets the roll and will go to the line.
Just great ball movement. They're all connected. Talk about your teammates, you're on a string, and this is where it is. The penetration there. The weak side help comes, and there we see Flowers, and that's what I'm talking about. His responsibility if the help's coming from the weak side. He's got a guard too, but he just loses vision. And then down low, the penetration, the extra pass. Fine Magnay, easy too.
No good on the bonus, but they keep it alive, Tassie. 11-point lead. Crawford steps back. Flowers couldn't handle the rebound. Here's Deng inside, working over Kadee.
Everybody's eating. Everybody is eating a big meal for the JackJumpers in this first quarter. The way the ball is moving, it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Scott Roth say he had a big Thanksgiving spread, and they're continuing to feast. This Tassie team.
I like the action. Deck down low, dench down low. There, he's got the size advantage. I'm surprised we don't see more of that on Crawford when whoever's Crawford's guarding. And
25-14 with the bonus to come. Sunday Detch at the line, playing his 100th game for Adelaide this evening. Laces the free throw. Let's go courtside to Kelsey Brown.
Yeah, I listened to Scott Roth pre-game. I want to jump on the back of that Thanksgiving dinner. I think he's very relaxed. He said to the troops, enjoy yourself, let's have some fun, and that's how they look like they're playing.
Would have been on the table at Scott Roth's Thanksgiving dinner.
check.
Yep.
All the trimmings.
100%, plenty of gravy.
Couple of special occasion cigars.
Would have thought so.
I thought.
And just would have tasted a whole lot better when you're coming off a win. An emotional win as well.
Starling can't hit. Rizlovic back the other way. So 10-point JackJumpers lead. Adelaide only won 3 of their 12 opening quarters this season. Crawford behind the back. Fancy move, can't get it to go. Rizlovic throws it off the side of the backboard. Kadee with the heave, won't go. And at quarter time, it's a statement early from the hosts, the Tassie JackJumpers. They lead the 36ers 25-15.
to Willie Smith, our game day partner. Now, very simple game, boys. We're going to line you up. You've got 45 seconds on the clock to see how many beanbags you can get in our big Willie bins. We've got a $100 Willie Smith's Apple Shed voucher for grabs. Sound pretty good? It's really good. All right, let's get it on.
You shoot that way. You shoot that way. Yep, no, stay here. Look the line. Look the line. You get behind the line. You've got 45 seconds. Right down now. Nice. And then 3, 2, 1. Go. 45 seconds. Let's go.
Give some support.
Have we got any in here, lads? Have we got any in? We don't want to split the voucher. There's got one in. 26 seconds to go. 26 seconds. We're in the lead now.
Tassie JackJumpers have jumped out to an early 10-point lead at quarter time. Anthony Drimmick got things going with the Mitsubishi Motors 3, and they didn't stop there. 4 of them in the opening quarter for the JackJumpers. Great to have the support of Mitsubishi Motors throughout the course of the season. They lead 25-15 at quarter time. A very promising start for Scott Rothsman.
Outstanding first quarter from the JackJumpers. 8 different scorers. 7 assists on their 10 made field goals. Drewy, the ball was moving, and it was a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah, it is, and that's motivating when you're on a team where you know you're going to give it up, that you've got a reasonable prospect. If you're open, you can get it back.
So the Sixers with another slow start, of course, coming off Thursday's game in Christchurch. Kelsey Brown's courtside. Kels, it's a pretty difficult travel schedule they've had to face here, the Sixers.
I spoke to the Adelaide camp. They said they've been in 3 different time zones in 4 cities. They finished our recovery and dinner at midnight on Thursday, 3:45 a.m. call time at Christchurch Airport. And then they've gone Christchurch to Sydney, Sydney to Hobart, and they've shown up here. There's no excuses, though. They said that this is what we've signed up for.
It's that is an itinerary. McDonald. Junior Badut getting some run. Has it taken away by Wiley. Gets it back, and then he might have stepped on the paint.
The 3:45 a.m. call time.
Yeah,
how does that compare to the Doomsday Double and the like, the trips of yesteryear?
When you got the day off, back in my first year, we were in Hobart on the Friday night, the Nullarbor Inspectors on the Saturday night, and the 2 p.m. tip-off of the Saints on the Sunday afternoon in a 48-minute era.
Did you get any dubs?
No. No. That was not during a pleasant time.
Oh, can't get it to go. There's just some desperation out there at the moment. Clint Steindl going headlong after the rock. McDonald back the other way. Humphries rips it down. It hasn't been pretty in the last 30 seconds or so. Wiley on the other end is fouled.
But Joel, this is the sort of helter-skelter tempo and pace that Adelaide need to play with. Because if it's a half-court grind, Tassie, you're just going to grind them into the hardwood. This is what we were talking about trying to open this game up a little bit.
Yeah, and not just because that's what Tasmania are good at. It's also what's in the best interest and what Adelaide look better at. And they look better when it's out. It's a little more free-flowing. And where they can get it, and they're not taking it out of the net all the time. Getting some stops, running off the missed shots, and playing in the open court a little bit better. And there's some encouraging signs here.
It is a little bit more of an encouraging look for them, Kelsey Brown.
Yeah, CJ actually said exactly the same thing as Casey. So there you go. He said they need to get quicker in transition into defense and get the ball through some hands.
Makes them a little bit more unpredictable as well. At times they can look pretty staid in what they're doing. Krizlovic can't hit. He's having a tough old shooting season, is Fabian Krizlovic. 28% on field goals coming into tonight. And Wiley stepped on the sideline at midcourt.
I think he got caught for that second violation. The pressure from the JackJumpers and the 36ers not able to advance.
And that would be super encouraging for Scott Rock to extend your defense up and took that type of pressure on to cause those types of violations. Would be highly encouraging.
Steindl misses another 3 ball.
Gone cold. 10 of 26 now at only 38% for the Jackies. They've been some good looks, just haven't been able to make them.
6-point lead to Tasmania. Second leg of a Saturday night doubleheader in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Ding with some good defense on Wiley, and then they toss it away, Adelaide.
So they came up empty there, Adelaide, but I like what they were doing there out of the ball screens. If they're going to show hard, get the ball out of your hands quickly. So Vasiljevic moves it. They end up with a pretty good look here. Now, you know, Deng did a great job to get a hand to it, but Wiley going to work down low on Majuk Deng. That's not a bad place to be.
Milton Doyle can't hit off the glass. Junior Madut cleans it up. A little bit of an opportunity in the last few games. Junior Madut had a run of DNPs for a little while there. Played 11 minutes against Cairns before the break, and Scott Roth's going to him. Part of the rotation here. Vasiljevic with the fall away. That one is a very friendly roll.
Well, right there you saw why he was playing. Now that's a tough shot. There's not a whole lot more Junior Madut could have done. So he's in there for what he can do on the defensive end. And the hustle. We saw the O board down the other end. Those scrappy plays is where he thrives.
So 4 of 25 on Thursday night from downtown, the 36ers. They've only taken 2 threes so far in this game.
Oh, the JackJumpers, with all their pressure, they run you off the three-point line. So can you work your way through that pressure, get to the backside of it, and get the JackJumpers scrambling? That's the challenge.
Well, they're the best in the league. Teams only average 7 made threes against them, which is #1 in the league. So they guard the 3-ball well anyway, and they're up against the worst 3-point shooting team in the comp.
McVeigh from downtown. That one goes.
Oh, that's the friendliest bounce you can imagine. Jars it against the front of the rim and wills it through the net.
Just like he drew it up. Cal coming downhill. Lee got a piece of it. Cal wants a call.
Well, that's just great rim protection. Went up and competed it around the rim and was good enough to block it.
9 points to spread. Joel Peterson, Liam Santabria, Andrew Gaze with him. Elsie Brown is courtside. Doyle gets inside, can't hit. Lee keeps it alive, then tosses it away. Aaron, a little shovel pass to Wiley, who puts the step on, can't get it to go. Humphries couldn't seal the lid. Drinick back the other way.
He's playing with confidence. Timeout, Adelaide. Anthony Drimick after the early knockdowns, striding his way to the rim.
8 points to lead all scorers in the game for Anthony Drimick. Three of 4 shooting. It's been a promising start for he and for the JackJumpers. They lead by 11. Kelsey caught up earlier with Trey Cal. We spoke about that travel schedule for the Adelaide 36ers as being pretty horrendous. Here's what Trey Cal had to say.
travel from Christchurch to Hobart, it's obviously been talked about a bit. It's a huge road trip. How are you guys feeling? How's the team morale? Hopefully that doesn't impact the game a little bit tonight.
Yeah, just I mean, like you said, it was tough, but I mean, at the same time, it's what you signed up for. You know, there's going to be certain road trips that aren't going to be as fun as others, but that's out of our control. We just go out there and you know, give it as best as you know, as much energy as we got, and I think we're in a good spot right now.
So they needed to bring some energy. They've done a better job of that here in the second term, but it's still a bit up and down for the Sixers.
My word, it is, and it's just the consistency is the key factor, and you know, they've missed a few shots that they normally, well, you've got to make. If you're going to compete at this level, they've just offensively missed some that they should make. I think their defense is you see some improvement down there on the defensive end, but it's a long game to be able to weather these storms. We saw that they did against the Phoenix at home. Now, it's on their home deck, but they came from, what was it, 19 down, 17 down, and were able to come away with a win. So they have shown a lot of fight in what they do from time to time.
Still yet to connect from downtown, 0 of 3.
Good action, wide open look for Trey Kell, just couldn't knock it down. And yeah, the defense has been better here in this second quarter. Just 7 points for the Jackies in the first 5 minutes or so. A big part of that was Isaac Humphries. I thought his influence in this second term was big. He's out now. Smith-Milner in. Can they continue to hold the Jackies at bay?
Kalkady, Smith-Milner, Starling, Vasiljevic to 5 for CJ Bruton. Doyle can't hit. Drew McVeigh, McDonald, Lee and Doyle out there for Tassie as Starling stepped on the line. Went up for that one like he might have when he was trialling for a couple of AFL clubs when he landed in Australia. Nice little intercept mark. Spent some time at Sydney and Port Adelaide along his journey, and it's been a mainstay in South Australian basketball and a very successful one at that over many years. Here's McDonald, just waltzes into a floater.
He's just really improving, Sean McDonald, in that Jack Jumper environment. For a guy who was pretty unheralded when he first kind of came into the league, they've found a diamond in the rough here with Sean McDonald, and he's playing an important role for this team, who is right up near the top of the standings, Drew.
And he's having an influence. Felix von Hoff's modelled his hairstyle after Sean McDonald.
That's true. No, he's a great story. He's Australian team junior representative and had it all going for him, and I think he lost his way there. Finishing around the end of high school, played with Kilsyth back in the Siebel when it was that, and wasn't taking care of himself, wasn't behaving like a pro, and then the penny dropped. He realised what it took if he was going to get an opportunity, and he had to fight his way back the hard way, and great respect for what he's been able to do. He was an elite junior, there's no doubting his talent, but just lost his way on what it was going to take. And most don't get it back. He's been lucky enough to realise that he had to make some changes to some of his behaviours, and it's worked out well for him.
Interesting parallel with the man who celebrated his 300th game last night in Sean Bruce, as someone who sort of fell out of the system for a little while and worked his way back. And Sean Bruce particularly, as Doyle gets one to go, you know, growing up in a household with a very talented older brother and wasn't the best basketballer in his family, but just worked and grinded his way and has now made a real fist of it.
Yeah, well, you're going to have some tough times across your journey. There's no doubt about it. You're going to have some adversity. Sean Bruce, he had that when he was starting to really roll, was Queensland North MVP up there, and then did his ankle in that season up in Brisbane, and then when he fell out of the league. And it's interesting what you say, Drew, hearing that backstory about Sean McDonald, and to see him turn that around to get in, he's put into the door at the NBL level, but then to really make the most of it over Adelaide's last couple of years, very impressive. Yeah, really good basketball IQ. One thing when you go into a situation like the Adelaide 36ers, and I know the travel and all the issues they have to deal with, but body language is really
important. It's infectious. And that last vision we saw at the bench, you know, I know that some of the guys are just getting a breather and trying to catch their breath, but you almost have to overdo it in these circumstances to make sure that you maintain a level of enthusiasm and being positive, because right now it's looking a little bleak. There's an unsportsmanlike foul for off the ball.
Kenny and Drimmick getting tangled up near mid-court.
He tried to kick him, he said.
Hey! Stop. Replay centre.
Ken Widgeon.
Review that play. Unsportsmanlike. C1. Review that.
Ken Widgeon, Alex McEwen, Damien Lyons, our refereeing crew this evening.
C1 on Tui Smith.
We're going to review
with his foot.
Yeah, we just got to let replay center review.
I just noticed he was behind.
So keep an eye on Smith Milner
I don't know if
here as he's running down the floor.
Thank you.
Jeez, nothing.
Nothing in that
Not
at all.
one thing. In fact, that should be reversed based on that vision.
It's not really a foul of any kind based on what we see there, is it?
Well, it certainly wasn't.
Apologies to Jason Kadee, by the way, who I threw into the mix.
There was nothing in that whatsoever. Sure, he stumbled, but I don't even think he hit his leg. Oh, yeah, he did. A little flick of the leg, but it didn't look...
Foul on 18, 1-8. That way.
Did not look intentional.
I saw you make contact. Okay.
Just a regular foul.
He's going to tell you.
Grim didn't stick his leg out.
So there you go.
Yep.
No upgrade, rightly so. Whether it needed to be a foul or not, you can draw your own conclusions. 3:30 remaining here in this second period. JackJumpers by a game-high 15. You see Phoenix coming back to beat the Breakers in the first leg of the doubleheader. Fortunately, an injury to Craig Moller in that game. Alex Starling comes the other way, trying to tip home his own miss, couldn't get it to go. Now Crawford's got the open court to work with and gets fouled.
White 10.
Mitch McCarron didn't like the call.
Yeah, low there.
Yep.
Well, I like the endeavour from Mitch McCarron. The previous possession, fighting over the ball screen, forces the turnover and steals it off Milton Doyle. And there, that was a harsh whistle. Felt like a little bit of a push-off from Jordan Crawford. The foul goes on McCarron instead.
Scott Roth wants to have a bit of a chat to his team with 3 minutes and 8 seconds remaining here in this second period. 36-21. 3 minutes and 8 seconds remaining. 15-point Jackie's lead. Jack McVeigh, 6 points in the early stages, 2 of 3 shooting. He's been one of the big improvers again this season. We caught up with him earlier to talk about the mentality that's led him to his success.
Well, I think it's about accountability, and for me, I sat on the bench for about 5-6 years from college to the start of my career, and always blamed everyone else, blamed coaches, blamed teammates. But it wasn't until I said, you know what, I got to be better, I got to learn better, I got to train more, train harder, and improve me as a basketball player. That now I get to go out there and live the dream and play with these awesome players like Milton and JC. And so really it's just about the moment I took accountability, my life and career got a lot better.
He's a deep thinker, Jack McVeigh, that's for sure. Spends a lot of time thinking about the game and trying to improve himself and make himself better, and he's seeing it on the court.
Yeah, he's an inspiration as well. He's a tremendous role model for young players that are watching the NBL on a regular basis, to listen to Jack McVeigh and to see the way he goes about it.
But that's what happens normally, and then you still call the foul. So call the foul game.
CJ Bruton and Ken Widgeon having a conversation. Of course, we've seen Moda Mayoa tossed from the game on Thursday night, and Dave Stevenson coming out in the press during the FIBA break saying he's taking a zero-tolerance approach to referee abuse. The NBL CEO.
Zero tolerance might be a bit extreme. I don't think we ever want to take away the interaction, but clearly the coaches, in my judgment, were allowed way too much latitude with the way in which they were communicating and expressing some of their frustrations.
Here's Crawford upstairs to McVeigh, who hammers it home and loves it.
Jeez, he's getting up a bit this season, Jack McVeigh. He's thrown a few down, and that time, well above the rim.
Perfect pass. The pass helped him, Liam. It was on point.
I know you're big on the pass, Drewy.
Harvey Norman replay. Jordan Crawford understood the assignment.
Silver service. Oh, it just had to touch it, almost in the rim.
On the platter. Kelsey Brown is courtside listening to that last JackJumpers timeout, Kels.
I hate to say this, but it feels like a training run that Scott Roth is running at the moment. They just drew up play after play and they want to get through it. So it feels a little bit like they're just wanting to get through this. It's very chill in the JackJumpers camp.
Well, you are chilled when you've got the insurance policy as your team you're playing against can't score. They only had 6 points in the quarter, 21 points in almost a half of basketball. And it's their defense, and that's going to be an and one.
He's doing as he pleases at the moment, Jack McVeigh. The lead is out to a game-high 19.
One shot.
He's got 10 on 4 of 5 shooting. 2 of 2 from downtown.
One shot.
From Cabarita Beach in northern New South Wales originally. I spent some time up there around that area during the FIBA break, land. One of the, just the most beautiful parts of the world. Up there between Brunswick Heads and Tweed Heads around Byron Bay, northern New South Wales.
Is there a sort of a tourist tour of the McVeigh childhood?
Not quite for me. There was a good brewery at Mullumbimby, and that's about as far as I got. Here's Sunday Detch. We can't hit.
So they're now 0 for 6. They're 0 for Saturday night, really, is what they are.
Well, they are, and they're only 8 of 34 in total. So even when they're getting around the basket, they're not always finishing. 23%, you can't win basketball games shooting 23%. And that play as an example, and I know it's easy to be critical of just one particular play, but with a lot of their actions, you're trying to think of where are you going to find something cheap? Where in the action is there a possibility as part of your system to get something cheap? Now, you won't always get it, but the way in which that'll put the pressure on the defense and the threat of getting something cheap can open things up.
Yeah. The other thing you're not, as part of that, you're not seeing from this Adelaide offense at all is really guys setting other guys up. You know, just 3 assists right now for the entire squad as we head towards half-time.
DJ Vasiljevic on the season leads them at 3.1 assists a game. Jacob Wiley 2.8, Trey Kell 2.7. They just don't have that real facilitator in their offense. Here's Will Magnay at the stripe. Great to see him back playing some great basketball. And of course, as I say that, he misses the free throw. He could make a real difference to this Tassie team. We know the quality that he brings. Finally back fit and healthy. Spoke to Pete Pooley during the week on the Huddle, which you can get wherever you get your podcasts, about the fact that he's still chasing that NBA dream and kind of form that he can bring, but you know what quality player he is. Beautiful feed inside from Humphries, finding Wiley underneath.
And that's exactly the action that I was just talking about. We come as a flex cut, and at least there's the threat of something happening, and an elite pass by Humphries to Wiley.
And Magnay puts a lid on that one. It was the first Adelaide basket since the 7-minute mark.
Yeah. They got off to a reasonably nice start, but it went bone dry for most of this second quarter.
Haven't scored less than 12 points in any second quarter so far this season. They've only got 8 with half a minute remaining. Tassie going to milk the clock for all it's worth. 20-point lead. 5 on the shot clock for Milton Doyle. Can he add a bit more pain to the 36ers going toward half-time? He gets fouled on the way through.
5:44 on his arm. I can't see from my side of that one. We got 2.
We got 2 here. Hey, 1 through 4, 65. 1 through 4.
So 1 through 4, 55. I assume that means 1 through 4. So any screens between a 1 through 4, I reckon they're going to switch with only 9 seconds left. And usually when this time it'd be 1 through 5 when you're down there waiting, going for the last shot, that you'll switch everything. But
so 22-point lead. Can they get something going into halftime here, the Sixers? Kadee to Humphries, that won't go. And the Adelaide 36ers have scored 23 points in the first half. The lowest opening half by any team this season by a margin. And Tassie have almost doubled their score at the main break. For all their woes in opening halves, having lost their last 10, it probably hasn't been much worse than this for the 36ers, with only 8 points in that second term. Tassie by 22. Let's go courtside to Kelsey Brown.
A dominant first half performance from the JackJumpers. Does it feel like you guys have the ball on a string?
I mean, we weren't happy coming into this preseason break how our defense was. So that's what we worked on, and it's showing this first game.
We know that Adelaide are a really good second half team. You're up by 22 at the moment. Does anything change going into the second half?
Nah, nothing at all. Besides, they're crabbing a lot of O-boards, so we got to box out, clean that up. But this is JackJumpers basketball, and this is what we've been working towards.
All the best.
They want to be a pretty good second half team from here. The Adelaide 36ers down by 22 at the main break. One man who'll want to make sure they're not getting back into it is Scott Roth, the JackJumpers coach. We'll learn a bit more about him at halftime.
Our first day of practice is not in the gym. Our guys show up in work boots and clothing that are made for the outside. They show up at 8 in the morning. And for example, we go down to Andrew Smith's farm in the Hunan Valley, and our guys go to work. They work from 9 to 3 in the restaurant, in the orchard fields, in the packing plants. And so our guys are reinvesting in our sponsors, but more importantly, they're working shoulder to shoulder with Tasmanians. And so this year, we had Bulk Nutrients, Andrew Smith's farm, and SRT. And our guys were riding in trucks delivering packages. Our guys were in Bulk Nutrition packing up their products, but more importantly, working with Tasmanians to understand what that feels like and what that means. And so our first day of practice has nothing to do about being on the court. We are in the environment, in the community, making sure that we get our hands dirty. Recruiting for me is really, really simple. I try to get 2 or 3 young kids that are in relationships. I like guys that are stable, that have a relationship going on, that potentially are getting engaged or about to be married. I really target those kind of guys. And then on the other side, I try to get 5 or 6 guys that are already married. They already have kids, and they're a little bit older, a little bit wiser, and understand that their family is way more important than the game of basketball and what they value. I'm looking for guys that are underdogs also, obviously, that need a second chance or a hug. But that is the recipe I go under. I do not look for talent first. I look for guys that I think are just needing something more and allowing them to come down there and try to thrive in our environment. And ultimately, probably I'm just looking for myself when I was growing up and people doubting me and needing a second chance and trying to find those guys that have that grit and grind, this mentality that I just need one more swing at something or I got something to prove. JC's a perfect example. First thing you see is size. I never saw size. I saw a guy that was very stable in his life. Again, I'm looking for a family guy, which he is, and stable. And that's kind of the recipe of what I look for. I think that, you know, we have our parameters that we have to deal with, and most people just think you just go get the best players and you just try to do all that. And, you know, we have to worry about budget. We have to worry about long-term and how we set the things up moving forward. And so we work within those constraints that we have, which are perfectly fine. We've done that for 2 years, and the 3rd year going in there. We had 5 spots to fill, and I felt quite comfortable with the guys we had. And Milt coming back was the first piece of the puzzle. And then filling in with Drim and Junior and then Majuk. Those pieces were there, and then we had to go start over with our point guard position with JC. You're not going to replace Josh Majette, and bringing in Crawford. And then, you know, we were lucky enough to get on the trail early with Marcus and get him across the line. So I'm quite happy with the group that we have in there. We have some core guys that have been around. We'll just try to put it all together and see how it goes.
Well, whatever you think about his approach, Scott Roth, he is certainly getting the results. Adelaide lead by 22 at halftime, 45-23 over the Adelaide 36ers. Tasmania in charge of this ball game and in a big way. Joel Peterson, Liam Santamaria, Andrew Gaze here. It has not gone the way the Adelaide 36ers wanted it to in this opening half.
No, and you don't want to take anything away from the Tasmanian JackJumpers. They've played this game perfectly. The intensity on the defensive end, their systems in the half court have been really good, but it's hard to be all that complimentary about the Adelaide 36ers. They've struggled at both ends, and particularly on the offensive end, to only have 23 points with the level of talent that they have. It shows, again, repeating, JackJumpers tick of what they're doing and forcing them into some pretty tough shots, but they've also been a little unorganised, and you're just not sure how they're going to score when shots are missing, and they need to make some adjustment at the halftime.
Hey, let's have a look at their Blackmores shot chart, the 36ers.
Oh, do we?
It's not great reading if you're an Adelaide fan. 9 of 37, 0 of 5 from downtown. And I mean, if that was a treasure map, you'd be in business because there's a lot of X's.
Yeah, well, they just can't score in the half court. That's the JackJumpers have them completely strangled at this point with their defensive pressure. So, yes, they've had a couple of good looks that haven't gone down, but a lot of time it's tough.
Yeah.
It's contested. They're not getting good options. So they need to open that up. Now, down the other end of the floor, the JackJumpers have been getting the ball through hands and getting guys going, and the game-leading scorer to this point has been Jack McFadden. He's got the double digits, the 10 points, he's 4 of 5 from the field, and he's been scoring in a variety of ways. Over the top, which he enjoyed in a very big way, but also catch and shoot from the perimeter. He can put it on the deck, and he can wheel and deal his way to the rim. He's having fun out there. And, you know, he's one guy who has been able to tick the scoreboard over.
But your point you made early on, and it was right from the start, if you look at Jack McVeigh's, there's a lot of green going on there, and you're 4 or 5 from the field, but it's nine scorers in this one. So everyone's feeling good about themselves, everyone's getting a touch that's come in, and you can clearly see the defined roles of how the JackJumpers want to play.
Get the sense that Jack McVeigh likes playing against his former team as well. Tell you what, big day coming up tomorrow. Doubleheader, Melbourne and Cairns at John Cain Arena. Melbourne United back in action after their spell at the fever break. They've been red hot heading into it. And the Cairns Taipans on the second leg of a weekend doubleheader. And then Brisbane and Illawarra, the Bullets coming off a win last night. The Hawks, their first action since the break. That's tomorrow's action in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Second half coming up from Tassie shortly. 22-point lead to the JJs. Well, it's all Tassie to halftime, 45-23. The JackJumpers dominating the Adelaide 36ers at home at MyState Bank Arena. Second leg of a Saturday night doubleheader after the Phoenix got the job done over the Breakers by 11 earlier tonight. Joel Peterson, Liam Santamaria and Andrew Gaze with you. Great to have you with us. And Adelaide starting off with the rock in this second half. DJ Vasiljevic going straight to work out there with Trey Cowell, Isaac Humphries, Mitch McCarron and Jacob Wiley. And immediately they get a bucket through Isaac Humphries to start this second half. Let's go courtside to Kelsey Brown because Scott Roth has made an interesting change to his lineup to start this second half.
Yeah, you can see that Magnay is coming to start this second half. I want to pose a question to Gazy. We've spoken a little bit about Magnay and Lee. How does this play out? How would you play this out if you were Scott Roth? Does Magnay start? How does the change happen?
Yeah, it's an interesting one and how they roll on. But when you look at Scott Roth, and I know he's had one of the most settled starting lineups in the competition, but he constantly talks about how the practice form's going. We know Will Magnay's had an interrupted start to the season, and I think it's just going to come down to whoever's playing the best. And that, by the best, it's just not performances like we see in games, but also in that practice environment. He likes to reward those that get it. But between the two of them, I think it's more about, well, where are the bulk of the minutes going to come rather than who starts. And as they always state, who's going to be finishing games. Great problem to have, though. You've got two high-quality players. They give you, I know there's a lot of similarities in what they bring to the table, but it's a few different things that you can point to depending on the circumstances.
Crawford pokes it away, averaging steal and a half a game this season. Here is Magnay inside off the feed from Doyle. Won't get an easier look.
Great pass from Doyle. Looks the defense away, signals like he's going to throw down the line and finds Magnay ahead of the pack.
Vasiljevic from outside. Still can't buy one from downtown, the Sixers. Crawford from the mid-range. That won't go. So how do you think the Magnay-Lee minutes battle plays out over the course of the season?
Well, it's going to be fascinating to watch. I think ideally Magnay gets to a point as Wiley can't finish at the rim where he's playing the bulk of those minutes. You know, 25 perhaps, and then 15 to lead. But as Crawford drills that and the margin gets even wider, CJ Bruton calls for time. Oh, I'd have a short leash if I'm CJ Bruton right now and say, you know what? Kyron Galloway, Nick Marshall, Trenton Flowers. At some point here, I'm going to turn to my younger guys and see if I can find some energy.
Oh, I think you're right, and that contradicts what I was saying before about how you got to shorten your rotation, but it's just so extreme in this game, and the margin's so bad that you've got to search for some different answers.
They need a few to step up. Trey Cowell is 0 of 5 tonight. He's having a rough time, but he caught up with Kelsey pre-game to talk about his injury that he had heading into the break.
A frustrating lead into the FIBA break for you with that calf injury. How did it pull up after Thursday night?
I felt pretty good. You know, the biggest thing is just trying to get your legs back. Just, you know, I had some good looks last game. Just a lot of them fell short. So just trying to get that rust and everything that I missed out on those past couple of weeks, trying to knock that off and get ready for today. We had actually a meeting yesterday. We watched the whole first half, offense, defense. Just trying to fix some of those problems. For some reason, we tend to be a team that will get down 20, and the next thing you know, we tie the game or we're in the lead. So, you know, our record would be a lot different if we weren't down 20 and we just played the same way we did when we come back. So, just trying to figure out what that, you know, that disconnect is and try to fix it sooner rather than later.
He didn't figure it out on the flight back to Hobart, unfortunately, the 36ers. So you're going to have to put some work in to try and find that disconnect in first halves so far this season. They trailed by 10 at quarter time and 22 at half time.
Jeez, they come out of the huddle and it's another turnover. We're going to challenge this one. CJ Bruton had a very good look at it. Straight down the line.
You want to be because he's already burnt one timeout, and this would burn another. Now, I don't think the timeout situation is going to be all that relevant in this game.
Right.
But as I said, you need to be spot on because it needs to be conclusive to overrule. And sometimes it's really hard in these circumstances. Did it come off McVeigh's back? I guess that's what CJ might have saw. I'm not sure it did.
Looked like the underarm of Humphries, the right arm.
Plus, look at the way, if you just keep rolling this, look at the way Humphries just walks off. So Humphries walks off as if he sort of knew that he might have been.
And right here, we're seeing the same angle over and over. The question would be, well, they've seen a different angle.
Well, that's it.
At any
The
point.
coach's challenge is successful.
It's successful. There you
Play
go.
will resume with white ball.
Clearly, the Tassie audio system didn't like hearing that the challenge was successful.
Well managed by the official. Took a moment, let it settle.
Recoiling in shock.
Managed that like a pro.
Very nice.
So CJ Bruton and the Adelaide 36ers, they might be 0 of 6 from downtown, but they're 2 of 2 on challenges tonight. 52-25. Can they get a bucket?
Oh my.
No. Another turnover out of another timeout. Crawford looks inside, and Jackie's almost thrown away at the other end, and a little bit of a tangle between Humphries and Drimmick. Let's go courtside. Kels, what have you got for us?
I want to speak to the difference in the attitudes of the bench. I know it's a very obvious one when you're down by this much, but Adelaide, I think they've got to fake it until they make it. They're very distant. They're all having side conversations. They're tuned in. They're looking down at their feet when they're listening to CJ. So I think it's a case of faking it till you make it at this point.
Here's Drimmick on the take, who gets inside and pushes the lead out to 29.
Spot on, Kelson. And that's what I was talking about earlier on with the body language, about how you just got to really almost over-exaggerate. You don't want to fake it as such, but I know what you mean, Kelson. That missed by a long way. That's when you get to a stage where you've got a high-quality shooter and completely devoid of confidence. Missed the whole thing, Liam.
At the other end, Anthony Drimmick is loving it.
Yeah, having a party. They are just loving life, the JackJumpers, putting the hurt on Adelaide in every which way. Here's the Harvey Norman replay. Drimmick here going up against his former team. Spinning on McVeigh, scoring through the contact. He's up to a game-high 12 points now, Drimmick, and he's enjoying it.
Why not? Anthony Drimmick. Plenty of time in Adelaide colours. Now doing a nice job of things.
So you got your little
side.
You got your little devices over there. Can you start, and we'll give you a bit of time, can you start to have a look at records for points in a game? Ever. Because right now, the Adelaide 36ers, they're going to struggle to I'm sure it'll open up a little.
Let's start with this season.
All right. So this season is 65, the lowest score. That was New Zealand against Illawarra. Here's Vasiljevic taking it inside, and the call is going the other way against the 36ers. The biggest winning margin was by Tasmania over Illawarra. That was 30.
Well, they've got that covered at this point. 3 minutes and change into the third quarter.
12-0 run at the moment, the JackJumpers as well. Get timing on this keyboard. Anthony Drimmick's up to a season-high 12 points as well. Milton Doyle adds his name to the sheet. 13, in fact, for Drimmick having hit the free throw. His best before tonight was 11 in the season opener over in Perth against the suddenly rejuvenated Wildcats. And suddenly rejuvenated now. And another turnover for the 36ers. 10 on the evening. Inside to McVeigh. That's an offensive foul on Jack McVeigh.
Just got that Armbar just a little too high in the end. Got Vasiljevic around the face. We're going the other way, but here come some of those young bodies. So Nick Marshall's in, Kyron Galloway's in now. You imagine Trenton Flowers is probably that next guy to come in. Can they bring some youthful exuberance and energy that's been missing for the 36ers thus far?
Here's DJ on the take, runs straight over Anthony Drimmick, and an offensive foul.
Yeah. Nothing, not a thing going right for the Adelaide 36ers.
A little louder, please. Who's ball? Thank you very much.
34-point margin. And Tassie, it's all coming up. JackJumpers under the 8 points for Adelaide in that second term. Only 10 since half-time. Milton Doyle steps back and strokes it.
16 points for Milton.
That lead is 37. For those of you playing along at home, losing count.
Really does test my maths when it gets this high.
That's another turnover. That's 12 on the game. I've got that at 6 this quarter as well. Doyle inside. Can't float it home.
Get to the corner.
Jason Kadee. Finally they get one, the Sixers.
Oh boy, much needed.
The state of South Australia exhales.
And they could use a little Jason Kadee run. We know he can peel a couple off in quick succession. They're going to try to avoid some of those records we're talking about. Jason Kadee getting going would help.
Breaks a 17-0 run for Tassie. Here's Jordan Crawford. It goes straight back to work. The visceral reaction of Andrew Gaze tells the story. Wiley at the other end lays it home.
Well, I think now, as hard as it is, if you're the Adelaide 36, you kind of got to ignore the score.
Yes.
Just completely put that away and work on something. Get some value out of this very difficult situation. And I think trying to be a whole lot more aggressive on the defensive end. You're giving up and you're leaking points anyway. But start trapping on ball. Just do anything to try and create some energy on the defensive end because it just looks so highly reactive and passive.
And it's been that way from the get-go, Drewy. You know, we saw the opening possession, the miscommunication, sliding under the flare screens early in the game, and it's carried on through. But you're right, got to get after it, got to force some deflections, some turnovers. Kadee comes back out, which is interesting. Vasiljevic stays out there as Starling and Flowers comes in.
They've done a good job of limiting the opportunities for DJ. He's only had the 7 field goal attempts, 2 of 7 from the field. And only has the 5 points.
The heart shows.
Yeah.
Getting it out of his hands. It's been effective.
It's that organisation that we speak of in terms of Tassie, their preparedness, the scout, the diligence that they bring to the table.
And fresh. They look fresh.
It's a big one.
Oh, they didn't look fresh the moment they stepped off the flaming Christchurch, unfortunately. Here's Doyle. That won't go. Who's that off? That's off DJ Vasiljevic, who doesn't have the finger waggle reaction this time. Patented term of Liam Santamaria. Deng, McDonald, Lee, Doyle, Steindl out there for Tassie. Lee can't get it to go. And he's fouled on the second attempt. So it's an even 32. The math's not all that difficult to do at this stage. I have dug into the record books, by the way, Gazy.
Speak on it, please.
I can tell you that the record for points scored was by the Melbourne Tigers against the Illawarra Hawks. That was
I know the height. I was fully aware of the...
You need to...
It's the other one.
Flip the filter.
There.
Right.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. No, I can click twice.
Right.
I clicked once.
So the
I
lowest.
did click twice. 40 points. Devonport Warriors against the Hobart Devils on the 2nd of February 1983.
Goodness.
They lost by 45.
They scored 40.
40?
Well, we're hoping Adelaide will top that mark.
Yeah, I'm confident they've got that covered.
Round club, this 36ers organisation. Silovic inside and draws another foul. Biggest margin of victory, 88, by the Coburg Giants over the Sydney Supersonics. Let's go courtside to Kelsey Brown.
I think it was Gazy before said Adelaide needs something to play for considering this margin is so large. I want to ask Liam, is this the moment that Trenton Flowers gets to play out the rest of this game and see what he can do?
Oh, I think it's a good call. We'll see. He's come in and out of the game like a yo-yo to this point. But I think that his energy that he brings, we saw a couple of weeks ago, the 13 points, the 9 rebounds in the win over South East Melbourne, the big fourth quarter he had against Illawarra to get him a win earlier in the year. He can bring some energy. And it would make sense as an approach the rest of the way, Kels.
Well, you know what might be under a threat? If you just look at Adelaide's lowest score as McDonald from the corner, as wide open. Anytime you're able to catch it, get your fingers in the seams, check out the brand of the ball, and let it fly at this level, is the percentages are in favour of the shooter. But when you think of the Adelaide 36, 57 at Brisbane in 1983 is their lowest.
It's a week after Devonport scored that 40, by the way. Oh, here's Lee hammering it home and holding the pose as well. Still got some work to do to get there, this Adelaide 36ers team. And his textbook from Marcus Lee with the powerful finish.
Oh dear.
Wow. Enjoyable for the JackJumper fans. A lot of standing around, looking around from the 36ers defensively.
So 71-34. Tassie by 37 points. Anthony Tribbick's had himself a night so far. 13 points. He is 5 of 8 from the field against his former side. He's spoken about playing in Tassie and how much he's enjoying it. You can really see it in the way that he's operating.
Oh, he's shooting arrows.
Well, it's great that he's enjoying it. We're enjoying watching him play at this kind of level this season. It's been a change of scenery that's worked really well for him. He's found a home down there in Tassie. He's one of the types of guys Scott Roth talks about that he's looking to recruit, and he's found a really comfortable role. And I like watching Anthony Tribbick in this aggressive, confident state of mind, that kind of celebration, this type of stuff. We know he's going to bring some energy at the defensive end, but when he's shooting the ball from three-point territory at over 40%, Drewy, and he's mixing that in with the attack on the rim, you got to be pretty happy with the way he's going about it.
Absolutely. You see the energy that he's bringing. The Harlem Globetrotters are bringing their 2024 World Tour to Australia. Don't miss your chance to be a part of the world-famous Globetrotters Global Tour as they take court with moments of extreme basketball innovation and unparalleled fan fun. Some Anthony Tribbick type stuff if you're in the crowd. Coming down under to a city near you. So get your tickets at HG2024, so hd2024.nbl.com.au. Seen any Globetrotter stuff quite from either side.
Oh, we've seen some Washington General stuff. We have seen a bit of that.
Led you into that.
But no, these are tough moments, and it's these types of games. It's unfortunately just the scrutiny that it puts a team under.
Absolutely. So 35-point lead. Kelsey Brown, you were listening to CJ Bruton at that last timeout.
Honestly, it's a hard watch going into that timeout at the moment. I think the leaders of the 36ers really need to stand up. I know the question will be around CJ and his head on the block, but he's the only one that has some fire about him at the moment.
I love CJ's. They need to take some... there's a nice move by Flowers, and again, it's in the transition, pushing it down the floor, but he has coached. If you were coming in here and you didn't know the score, and you were just looking at the coach, you wouldn't know whether he was... You wouldn't think that they're 30-plus down. He's out there, he's still working, and that's what we've been talking about from his players. You've got to show some of that fight, some of that determination, and some of that commitment to the task. CJ stayed on point. Now, he hasn't been able to get a response from his players, but he has been up coaching, trying to motivate, just hasn't been able to get a response.
Stay into it! Stay into it!
It'll be the question that gets asked, though. So, appointed on a 3-year deal, CJ Bruton is in the 3rd year of that. They haven't made playoffs. Their win percentage under him is around 40% as Steindl scoots inside. I think that conversation in Adelaide will be starting to happen, certainly from the media. That's how that town works. Generally, that's where they get kicked off, those conversations, and then to exactly what level that filters down, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, well, I think at this point, though, we're looking at an end-of-season type scenario, I would suspect, Joel, at this point, now that we're on the other side of the FIBA break. So that's when those conversations will take place. Right now, it's a matter of just zeroing in on this group, this personnel, the coaching staff, the playing roster. This is who that they have to work with. They're still getting fantastic crowds in the Adelaide Entertainment Centre, despite the fact they're operating with a losing record. Hungry Jack's on the line right here.
And you know, I know it seems a near impossibility right now if you're just watching this game, you're Adelaide 36er fan, but you look at you go back, you only have to go back a couple of months and you see that the whole of the Perth Wildcats had dug themselves. Now, they were able to get it out and dig themselves out of it relatively quickly, but it all was doom and gloom and all sorts of pressure, and 6 wins later, they are the hottest team in the competition.
Well, that's true.
Now, it always helps when you've got the best player in the team in the league.
Who's not walking through that door.
No, he's not. But you can do it in different ways. You can do it as a collective. And it's certainly hard to be positive with what we're seeing right now, but history has shown us that you can make something out of it.
Just got to find a way at the moment, find something. Because this, I mean, the season is slipping away from them, really. This is turning into a lost season in one way or another. And so from here, what can you gain out of it? What can you keep some interest and some intrigue in? As far as the Sixers go. Here's Flowers. Jeez, got upstairs there almost. Went straight over the top of the defense.
He brings energy. He wanted it up. He was expecting the pass to be thrown for the alley-oop. Points up. Instead, to go straight back at him. And good, strong, aggressive move by the young fella at the rim.
Certainly not shy is Trenton Flowers. One whose draft stock still being spoken about in mock drafts. It's the latest Draft Express from Jonathan Gavoni landing during the week. He's still very much in that conversation. This is the second free throw.
Yeah, ESPN, Gavoni's got him in that mix right now in the second round.
Whereabouts? What sort of numbers?
In the 50s for Flowers right now. Yahoo Sports, Chris and Pete dropped her mock draft recently. Had him as a first rounder. Sees the potential.
You can see the tools and the skill set. I feel like he's just going to, he might hold this for the last shot of the half, or the third quarter, I should say.
Look out.
And he's in attack mode. Lee from the weak side with a monstrous block. Marcus Lee took his lunch. And we get to three-quarter time with a 30-point break. Have a look at this play from Flowers and from Lee.
I like it. Tough kid. No histrionics when he falls on the floor. That hurts. But he gets up and bounces back.
No backward step taken by either of them. Love to see it. JackJumpers by 30 at three-quarter time. It's a Saturday night that has belonged to Tasmania in Hobart. They started out strong and there has been no relenting from the JackJumpers. Up by 30 at three-quarter time. They have all got involved. Plenty have hit the score sheet. And a 73-43 lead to show for it. Joel Peterson, Liam Santamaria, Andrew Gaze, Kelsey Brown with you. And the Jackies are doing it very comfortably.
I'm on where they are. Yeah, it's a great night for some plus-minuses if you're the Tasmania JackJumpers. They can be a little misleading from time to time, but the two guys that we've been focused on, Jack McVeigh plus 38, Anthony Drimmick plus 36.
Starling with the tip back.
That's some big numbers, Liam.
Big numbers in the plus-minus. And on the scoreboard here in terms of margin. Challenge for Adelaide here is to
win the quarter.
Win the quarter.
Win the quarter.
And they started to put a few points on the board there in that third quarter. Highest scoring term for the game for them. Put 20 on the board, finally. And here they are now, out ahead of the pack.
Galloway lays it home. Couple of baskets to open this final quarter for the Sixers. They play with this energy and this vigour. We've seen it a couple of times, even in games that they've lost, games they haven't performed well in. They have had periods of bringing some really good energy to the table, but it just fall away so fastly in those other moments. Red numbers on the shot clock. Deng's going to have to get it up. Flowers secures the rock. Hopefully we see more attack mode from Trenton Flowers. Almost had one of the dunks of the year over Marcus Lee. Marcus Lee with one of the blocks of the year in the end. Bit of contact on the way through as well. Flowers didn't complain. Pushing foul on Vasiljevic.
That's a good call. We saw a play very similar to that the other night in New Zealand that was called an offensive foul, erroneously, in my opinion. Oh! And this one, the official much more on top of it.
Always a tough call. And it was a call like that, going back a long way, 1993 grand final, and just happened to have a very similar action on Ricky Grace, and they called it on Ricky Grace, and well, it had an impact. Had an impact because I think it might have been his third or fourth. Had to sit him down for a little while. They're tough calls. They're bang-bang plays.
Flowers can't get it to go over McVeigh. You can see in those moments why it is such a tough sport to be a referee and an official in. These elite athletes moving at such pace as Milton Doyle is there. So shifty getting to the cup. First bucket of the final quarter for the JackJumpers. Adelaide still with some room to make up to their highest. Beat their lowest score, so 57 points is what they're aiming for back in 1983. That's what they had against the Brisbane Bullets. Club record for a low score in a match. 40-minute era, it's 59. Had that against New Zealand back in 2012-13.
And against the Perth Wildcats in 2014, had the 59. I think we've both figured out how to use our little stats machine.
You guys are on fire.
And he was going up.
You learned how to click twice quicker than I did.
I knew how to reach out to people that would know and get them to do the work for me.
That's always a good play.
Sunday Detch, his 100th game as a 36er. Can he hit a three for the road? Quite. Good basketball story. Sunday Detch grew up in Ethiopia, of South Sudanese heritage, moved to Perth when he was 6. Played in a couple of championships for the Wildcats, one before he went to college and then one after, and now he's become a really important part of this Adelaide 36ers organisation. And of course, alongside Junior Madut, part of the South Sudan World Cup campaign, the FIBA World Cup as well.
Green 9, hit, 2.
Step to the stripe here and shoot a couple of free throws.
He was solid the other night in New Zealand. Sunday Detch had the 10 points. It's been a bit of a rough year from a shooting perspective for Sunday.
Thought he was really making some strides when he went to the Adelaide 36ers with his perimeter shooting. And what happens is two things. One is, you improve, but when you start making a few, the defenses adjust. And then it's your ability to continue to improve against better defenses to maintain that growth. And that can be tough.
26% from downtown in the season for Sunday Detch. McVeigh steps into one and knocks it down. How many times have we seen that for Jack McVeigh? 14 points, 6 of 7 from the field now. Jordan Crawford comes up with a steal. Magnay had it blocked by Galloway, and it's spilt to McVeigh, who knocked down another. Easy pickings for Jack McVeigh. Lead back out to 29. Let's go courtside, Kelsey Brown. Kelsey, you've been keeping an eye on Trey Cal.
Yeah, Trey Cal, I think it's important to note that one of their imports, Trey Cal, has 0 points as we speak. I think there's been a lot of discussion earlier in the season around, do they need another import? I want to ask the question, is that still on the cards? What do they need? Are they looking?
No, well, it's a good question, Kels. The latest word that we've been receiving, certainly from ESPN's Olga Ulick, on NBL Overtime on the regular, we've been asking that question. What is the state of play with the 36ers? And the word is that it's not really imminent. It's not something that's going to be they're looking to get done in a quick way. Obviously, they're rolling with Jacob Wiley and Trey Kell.
Well, that's true, but the talk is Dwight Howard. That has been one of the teams that have been speculated, probably because they do have an opening. But I spoke to CJ before their last home game against Phoenix, and they said that his instructions were that they will not be getting another input. Push on with what we've got. But right now, you need better than numbers than that. 0 of 6 for Trey Kell.
Interesting, he had a really good game before that calf injury. He had 25, 5 and 6. Really encouraging performance. That was against Perth. We've seen that highlight play assist when he dragged it back in from falling out of the court. And then he had a calf injury that was sort of a game time decision, basically. Ended up keeping him out all the way until the break.
Oh, they need him up and about. They need him scoring 20, essentially. You know, averaging 16, 17 points per game. That's what they need from that import spot. And, you know, a game like tonight, he just has not been able to get going in any way, shape or form.
Emblematic of the club as a whole. They just have not handled a weekend doubleheader as difficult as it has been. They have not handled it in any way, shape or form. Crawford from outside knocks another one in as Tassie build that lead back out to 34.
Certainly it's a difficult road double, just with the travel, but that is, when you're talking about the significance of the problems they're facing right now, that is almost irrelevant on the basis of your judgment of what's gone in here tonight.
We go to the line for Burgess. We go again, Bruno. Let's go to Isaac Arena field. I reckon if we build slow, we're going to get there.
Marshall step to the free throw line. It's going to court side again to Kels. Checking with Kels in a second. 84 to 50 halfway through this final term.
It's an interesting one, Drury. I think about this weekend. They have the win over South East Melbourne. They have the fever break. They've got a little bit of positivity and momentum. And imagine if these back-to-back games, as the fans call for Hungry Jacks, Nick Marshall does not provide. Imagine if these games, New Zealand, Tasmania, were both at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre, in front of that passionate Adelaide home fan base.
That's true.
And it was a home-home double instead of the travel to Christchurch, 2 4 a.m. appointments and check-ins at the airport, and then to Sydney and down to Hobart, the heavy legs that they brought into this gym. I think it would be a different kettle of fish.
True. I don't dispute that, but you still got to go on the road. You still, at some point,
play those games.
You can't just.
You have to be able to deal with it, and they just haven't dealt with it. They just haven't dealt with it at all, and you know, clearly aware of it as Vasiljevic knocks one in from outside. With what Kels reported before the game in terms of the detail of the travel and that kind of thing, you know, they're aware of the limitations of the itinerary, and clearly it might have played too much of an effect on them. Here's Wiley in the open court. This is a dangerous place to be, and he lays it home.
And that's similar to what I was talking about in that third quarter with what you trying to get some value out of it. That time they blitzed the on-ball screen. They were up and in the lanes, and, hey, they get a turnover. And just a way to get some more energy on the defensive end. Not like that.
Doyle with his left hand lays it in, makes the margin 30 once more. Kelsey Brown, what are you seeing?
I'm sorry, Joel, the crowd is so loud in here. It doesn't matter if they're up by this much, it's still loud. Adelaide, obviously, we spoke about them finding a reason to play as Wiley. Oh, almost finishes that one. But Jordan Crawford was really loud in the timeout. He said this is the time that we can get into bad habits and we don't want to get stuck doing that. So that's their focus to close out this game.
Keeping those standard tight. The JackJumpers huddle. Only a point away from the ignominious record of 57 points that 36ers here. Flowers flings it up the court. Almost stepped into a triple. Works his way inside. Can't get it to go the first time, nor the second. Starling, third time no good, or a fourth. But he is fouled. Can't fault the effort.
Well, there was plenty of persistence. This JackJumpers crowd, they absolutely love this stuff. They love the lockdown. For that JackJumper basketball, it reminds me of that Wildcats crowd of the Trevor Gleeson era that reveled in keeping teams to 60 or in the 60s. And There's guys in that crowd right now that have their shirts off, swinging it around the top of their head. They're loving the defense on display.
Scott Wright clearing out his bench. Garrett Bairstow coming in. Junior Madut. Walter Brown making his second appearance of the season. Coming off a season spent with Canterbury in the New Zealand NBL. The long flowing locks in operation. Margin is 29. It's been as big as 37 for Tassie this evening. It's 22 at half-time, 30 at three-quarter time. It's been a demolition job. Here is Brown, swatted by Starling, who is not having that. The Harvey Norman replay of Alex Starling going up at the net and just spiking it.
Bouncy.
Volleyball had come to My State Bank Arena for a moment. And the shot clock violation just caught unawares there, Junior Madut. So 2:16 remaining in this one. Tassie will go to 8 and 5. They'll go back ahead of Perth, so they'll go back into the top two on the table. And Adelaide will slip to 4 and 9. They're 1 and 6 on the road this season after this loss this evening. Flowers drives inside.
And it's what I was talking about before the start of the game. It's if you're trying to get into that top two, and the value of getting into that top two is huge because you're straight through to that semi-final action. It's any little slip up, you've got teams breathing down your neck. So this is a huge win.
Well, inside the final 2 minutes here, fellas. Still plenty of time on the clock, but just worth flagging that they are sitting the 36ers on that lowest score ever in franchise history. At 57.
Got a bit of ground to get to the 40-minute error record of 59 as well. You're going to have to do a little bit of work here over the last minute 53.
I'm confident they got this.
This hasn't been a night for Adelaide so far, so the Lightning went down to the Bendigo Spirit, the mighty Bendigo Spirit, I should say, earlier this evening, 65-70 in the WNBL. The Strikers are in trouble in the WBBL final as well. And the 36ers have had a rough old evening in Hobart. Marshall can't get it to go.
Hang on.
Minute 34 remaining. 52 points the margin. 1983 against Brisbane, they scored 57 points, the lowest score in club history, the 36ers. Trying desperately to avoid that here over the remaining minute 26, and the Jackies will get another look at it. Sean McDonald spins and hits. Just continues to play some really good minutes.
Oh no, jeez. Well, the 59 watts just started to get a little more desperate.
You were highly confident, Drew.
I was. I'm no longer highly confident. Gee whiz.
Biggest winning margin for the Jackies, by the way, is 31. Jason Kadee casting a forlorn figure on the bench. CJ Bruton not looking all that thrilled either, and understandably so. Brown against Starling, round 2. Starling plays some good D, and they get another offensive rebound here, Tassie. Brown against Starling, round 3. Fighters to your corners, and Starling pokes it away. Marshall to Flowers, who puts a lid on it and puts the record out of business.
A little tight.
Well, that's the all-time record.
One record.
Surpassed.
He got the lob that he wanted that time. Sean McDonald strokes it from downtown. He's got 15 on the night, Sean McDonald. So their lowest score in the 40-minute era, the Adelaide 36ers, 59 points on 2 occasions. Still got a bit of work to do here. They won't surpass it there.
Nope.
And Tassie will hold on and get the last possession and just walk the clock out and seal a dominant thumping of the Adelaide 36ers. Tassie's biggest win. Adelaide's equal lowest score in the 40-minute era. And the season goes from bad to worse for CJ Bruton and the Sixers. Demolished, destroyed by 35 points in a Saturday night obliteration.
Spot on, Joel. It's hard to find any positives out of this one for the Adelaide 36ers. Whole lot of credit to the Tasmanian JackJumpers. At both ends of the floor, they came in with an outstanding defensive game plan. Offensively, they stuck to their systems. They shared the ball around. They hit shots. Everything perfect for the Tasmania JackJumpers. But for the Adelaide 36ers, this is where a lot of soul-searching needs to take place. And it's not just what you see in this one-off game, but the emotional toll a beatdown like this can take can be hard to recover from.
I'll go back to Adelaide with some real, as Casey said, some soul-searching to do. Liam, and this group's going to have to galvanise quickly.
100%. There's nothing else to do but to bounce back. And they've shown the ability to do that at times this season. But this is an almighty hole to bounce back from. But don't take nothing away from the JackJumpers. They're the guys that created that problem for Adelaide. By the way, they got about it defensively. They've been working hard over the FIBA break to improve at that end of the floor. So to hold a team below 60 coming out of that break is a huge tick for them. They'll be feeling fantastic. Marcus Lee, the whole group, Jack McVeigh, they were terrific at the defensive end of the floor, and then they had a good time offensively, and everybody got involved.
So as you'd expect, lowest score by any team this season, biggest win by any team this season from the Adelaide and the Tassie side of things. The good news for Adelaide, at least, is they play Cairns next week, they play Melbourne the week after that, they play Brisbane the week after that. So they've got 3 single games. They don't have another double-header until they go to Perth on the 28th, and then they face Illawarra on New Year's Eve. So they've got a bit of time to work through things here, and they need all the time they can get.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is where you got the leaders of the team have got to step up. I thought Jacob Wiley, I love the energy that he brings, and I give him somewhat of a tick just by his body language and the way he was trying to get around his teammates. But there's got to be a lot more of just not only the X's and O's, but also how you're going to deal with some of the other peripheral stuff that's going on right now.
A lot of body language chat from the man to our left tonight, Liam, was a big theme of the evening. A 35-point win to the JackJumpers. Kelsey Brown's with the Foot Locker player of the game, Milton Doyle.
I'm here with Milton Doyle. Milton, that win sees you move to second on the ladder. Was that the epitome of JackJumpers basketball tonight?
Yeah, that's what we worked on during the break, trying to get our defense up and holding the team to 60. Any team in this league is tough, so good job from the guys and the coaching staff.
Well, that is the lowest score that we've seen all season that you've kept Adelaide to tonight. Was that obviously a big focus? What are the specifics and how have you gone about rectifying that?
Really just a lot of work and practice and defense, pushing each other. We already have a great offensive team, so it makes us better in practice. So that's the main focus, defensive.
You take on New Zealand Breakers next week. The last time you came up against them, you obviously had a loss. What's the feel going into that game, and have you looked at them going forward?
I think we're finding our identity. This game might stamp it and bringing us back to who we are, JackJumper basketball.
We love that. Well done.
Just getting a little bit of help to cool off from Jordan Crawford there is Milton Doyle. 20 points tonight, a very quiet 20 points as well on 7 of 17 shooting. As far as nights for Milton Doyle goes, it was very, very just business-like.
Yeah, it was. And he was just in his bag the whole night, really, wasn't he? Just getting to his spots, that's a little bit too easy. Just peeling off the ball screen, kisses it off the glass, and just amassing some numbers. Just had a game-high 20 points, had a game-high 6 assists, and did it with a certain modicum of ease, to be totally honest. And it was fun to watch from a Milton Doyle perspective, and if you're a JackJumper fan, But as you can see from these highlights, there wasn't a whole lot of resistance that he encountered along the way. So nice performance from Doyle, terrific performance from the JackJumpers as a whole.
Absolutely, a big win for the JackJumpers, and as Kelsey said, it puts them back into second. Back to wrap it all up in a moment. JackJumpers by 34 on Saturday Night Hoops. Big night for the JackJumpers, a club record win of 35 points. And for Adelaide, the rather ignominious record of an equal low 40-minute score. 59 points for CJ Bruton's 36ers tonight. They go down 94-59. Joel Peterson, Liam Santamaria, Andrew Gaze here to wrap things up after what was a difficult watch if you were a 36ers fan. For a JackJumpers fan, you'd be very, very happy with that. Let's take a look at the Hungry Jacks highlights, Drewy. It was pretty much in green and gold.
It was, and to me, it was a combination of great system, a great game plan, and then the execution just fell in place. And you can see, as we saw with a lot of Milton Doyle's highlights, the way in which, the ease at which they're able to get shots. And, you know, the Adelaide 36ers will be going through this tape and looking at their defence and saying, like right there, what is that? It was poor on the ball, it was poor off the ball, and it's going to be some tough conversations they're going to have when they go through this video review and just say, hey, you can blame a lot of people, and CJ might have to cop his fair share of criticism, but gee whiz, some of that action you saw on defence, that's got nothing to do other than a bit of heart and a bit of ticker and a bit of determination that you've got to apply. But let's hope tomorrow we get a little bit more excitement going on with the Melbourne United taking on the Cairns Taipans. The Taipans, they're getting into that situation. They are going to need a win if they're going to keep in touch. So going to be a couple of really important games tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to.
And Brisbane Illawarra, Brisbane coming off a win, a narrow one, albeit against Cairns. So they are hoping to keep things going. You're the mayor of Brisbane Island. Can they keep rolling?
Oh, I think they can.
Yes,
yeah.
I do.
I mean,
I like
tell you
it.
what, though, this Illawarra team is coming in desperate. Now, they've had this fever break as well to get themselves right. Justin Tatum is 1-0 in this league, has not lost, looking to put another one on the board. So it's going to be a fun Sunday to watch tomorrow.
So a big doubleheader coming your way tomorrow. Thanks for your company tonight from Tassie. All kinds of records fall. A club record win for the JackJumpers of 35 points. Adelaide with their equal lowest score in the 40-minute era. The Jackies are up to second after a massive win to close out a Saturday night doubleheader. Look forward to company tomorrow in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jacks and Bunnings Warehouse.